So welcome everyone to our first open mentoring session on Scaled Agile Framework. I have been teaching SAFe since 2014. I am Saket Bansal, and I also teach project management and other stuffs, agile coaching. So I thought, why not we have a specific conversation around Scaled Agile Framework. We already have 50 plus videos in our YouTube channel. They are organized under playlist as well. And if you want to know introduction of Scaled Agile Framework, those videos are pretty useful. Yes, I do run training classes talking about SAFe, like leading SAFe and SAFe POPM frequently. But yes, that is something we can talk. I also work with organizations who are implementing SAFe in the form of continuous training and consulting. So probably I can also share something which may be different than theory, which you read in your certification classes. The way you can ask me question is that you can put in a chat or you can speak in the using the unmute option. We are a small group, so you can definitely speak up as well. I hold on for a while see if someone has a query to start with. Else I probably just start giving little introduction of Scaled Agile Framework. Go ahead,
Hello.
please.
Yeah. Mm. So, so this is Rajni, right? So it's okay to say the name. So my first query would be the systematic approach to understand the safe and agile. Okay, though we are using it in our professional day-to-day life, but still we are not sure whether we are using it in a correct way or there is any scope of improvement, or they may be different organized way to use it, right? But not being sure, so we would like to understand how and we should align ourselves to the agile and in long run as a safe like
Great, thank
user,
you. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Thank
So
you for opening the conversation and let me try to make something out of it. And then
yes.
let me know if you have a follow-up query.
Yeah,
So,
and one my main concern would be as I'm associated with a startup, okay, so how I can use this safe knowledge, right? Not in agile in general, but specifically the safe, how I would be able to implement that and use in my startup, because I am responsible somehow for the process building and QA mainly.
perfect.
So I'd like
Perfect.
to know how it will be helpful and how to start like using and implementing it in a startup. Okay.
Great. So,
Yeah.
see, anything which we learn, be it agile, scaled agile, my belief is that we learn something from the book, but when we start implementing, we need to implement in our context. So our way of working may not necessarily always follow the book. And I believe if we start following the book, we are not agile anymore. So anything which we learn is a good expected to be improved by way of continuous learning. So not to worry about that I'm following right agile or right scaled agile. What we need to focus more on that are we getting our problem solved with the help of agile ideas? If that is happening, we are doing right. If that is not happening, then it is not right. We have to find out the answers. Yeah, so that's a usual starting point. Now, the agile ways of working, as we primarily understand, is a frequent learning and frequent feedback based working. And why are we doing it? Because we are dealing in the uncertain environment. It is not like it is good, it is popular. Yes, sometimes people just use it because it is good and popular. Yeah, but we are learning on a continuous basis. That's the whole idea of agile. It got started in 2001, and many organizations starting adapting the agile. Now, what happened? The small agile team doing value delivery is a good starting point. But now the software industry is maturing. Yeah, since like it's been more than 25, like 20 plus years. And many of the agile approaches came even before the agile manifesto came. So now softwares are becoming big and complex. So many organizations started looking for the solution where they can make big solution development using bigger group of people, not just small agile team. And that is where the Scaled Agile Framework took their space. And they said, we are there helping you to do that particular job to start with. And in 2011, so say after around 10 years of basic agile manifesto got written, the 2011, the Scaled Agile Framework got introduced. So I would say the primary purpose of Scaled Agile Framework is to scale Agile beyond small Agile team. One of the practical way of seeing it is if you want to make 100 people collaborate and deliver value in a consistent, in a collaborative manner, which has some amount of adaptability and frequent delivery mindset in it, that is Scaled Agile Framework to just basically start with. Yes, they will say that we do have an approach to enterprise alignment as well, but that's the basic thing which we can understand about Scaled Agile Framework. In the Scaled Agile Framework, it's a good aggregation of existing concepts. So I would say that it is not any framework, any process is a mechanism of helping us to integrate our effort. So Scaled Agile is helping us in integrating our effort when we are developing large group-based solutions. We have a lot of people who are working together. So in order to integrate that particular work, there were many already existing approaches like Scrum was there, Lean was there, and a lot of product management approaches were also there. So what the Scaled Agile people have done, the writers have done, they picked up the ideas from various good sources and they created an integrated solution for a typically large complex organization. Yeah, so large complex organization, maybe say 2000 plus people organization kind of stuff. So they kept that kind of organization in mind and they created solution for it. So usually the implementation of safe you see in the device companies, financial sector, which are relatively big. Yeah, that's how I can say is the Scaled Agile Framework. So there is nothing much new here, but an integration and bringing a solution which can fit directly to a large enterprise is something called Scaled Agile Framework. I think that's a small pitch I can put here. Yeah. Anything from this, you can keep typing or any follow-up query anyone has, we can discuss. Now, can I implement SAFe in a 20, 30, 50 people startup where 20, 50 people developers are working? Maybe I would say you may be want to take some of the inspirations and ideas which are good practices of SAFe, but not necessarily it may suits you. Usually you need 50 plus people working towards a common solution kind of organization, which is looking for Scaled Agile Framework. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Anyone else has a query, they can unmute and speak, or they can put in a text also, and we can have a conversation. And hopefully this query also was useful to set up a high level context about what is the problem or the market segment Scaled Agile is targeting. I'm just waiting for the next query because I know teaching safe is a big thing. If I start teaching you from one to end, then that's 2 days. 2 days are also usually not enough. They have a basic, comprehensive, I would say the first level introduction of Scaled Agile Framework, which we put in a 2 days class, which is usually, if you go for a CSM certified Scrum Master kind of a class, I usually tell it's like at least 1.5 to 2 times of the content. Yeah, but the duration is same. So we learn around twice the content in same time. Yeah, that's what we end up learning because we need to get understanding of Scaled Agile Framework. Yeah, that's how the 2 days content run.
So as far as I understand, is like because I'm talking about want to understand the things from the startup, like implementing it in a startup organization wherein we are just 10 in number. So from there, if I talk about their perspective, so I think then knowing agile and implementing it to the max level wherever it is possible, that will be good enough, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
So
Perfect.
yeah, okay,
So you might be using the Scrum inspired agile practices. Yeah.
right,
If you
right.
are working on a product line and
Mm-hmm.
if you have an existing product as well, and you are always little bit on a firefight mode to take care of various ongoing stuff, then you may go into Kanban inspired
Kanban also. So I've started with the hybrid. Okay. So Kanban and Scrum. So trying to go with both the approaches wherever whatever suits best in a project, because there are service project as well as the product as well. So wherein we can work in a time bound increments, then there we are following Scrum. We are trying to go by sprint, and then wherein we are not able to align, or the timelines or the overlapping of developers are not available, or their time constraint is there we are following the Kanban. So I hope that is
That looks
the,
like a good approach. And
yeah.
then we need to do a continuous retrospective and learning from.
Yes. So we are trying to follow as much ceremonies as we can. So, and in order to streamline the process, right?
Perfect. Yeah. To me, this looks
Yeah.
a great
So,
idea. Yes.
okay.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Yeah. So we have a question coming in. Could you please help understand how the release planning is different in comparison with Scrum release planning? So what is release planning? As we say in our basic Scrum, if we want to plan a work for more than one iteration, we can plan a release. Yeah, that's there. Now, from a pure Scrum perspective, there is no definition of release planning. So if I go in a Scrum guide, I don't find a practice called release planning. So maybe one organization may be doing release planning, which is more or less similar like safe release planning. That's also possible. Yeah. Or you might be doing your customized release planning because Scrum has nothing called release planning. Yeah. That's means there is no prescribed practices called release planning. In general, the Scaled Agile also used to call their PI planning meeting, release planning meeting in the initial 3-4 years of Scaled Agile Framework. Yeah. So I think till 2015, 2014, they used to call that meeting release planning only. Yeah, that's something they used to do. But now they started calling it PI planning because it's an incremental planning process. Now, what are the differences? They tell that we are doing time boxed planning. It has nothing to do with we making customer releases or not. We may make multiple releases, but we are planning for upcoming, say, 12 weeks, or we make release maybe after few 12 weeks. But we are doing a long duration planning, which is a 12 weeks planning, which we call it PI planning. Now, when we usually do release planning is linked to a release. Yeah? So in a Scrum word, if I'm doing release planning, I may be planning upcoming 3, 4, 5 iteration. And after that, I have a significant release expected to go out. Yeah. So that way, release planning sometime in a Scrum word is a scope boxed, but in the case of Scaled Agile Framework, the PI planning is a time box. It's every time interval you do a PI planning meeting, and it may have a one or multiple releases or maybe a zero releases, but still you do a meeting. Now, overall, what is similar? The effort of bringing multiple agile team together and thinking little way ahead than current sprint is the intent of PI planning as well, which might be looking similar as a release planning. In a Scrum way of working, release planning can be done with a one agile team also. Yeah, we can just plan for our 10 people or what are releases we want to make after a few months or within a few upcoming iterations. But in a safe way of working, PI planning is a special meeting which brings all the group of people who work as a one agile release train. Maybe you can say around 10 agile teams by default. And those 10 agile teams comes together and they plan their long duration work and also plan their interdependency. So the primary purpose of PI planning meeting is planning the work for upcoming time box, 10 to 12 weeks, yeah, or 8 to 12 weeks, and ensuring integrated view for the whole group of people who are working together, which is called agile release train. That's the primary focus. It may lead to multiple releases or single releases. That's not the focus area for PI planning meeting. Yeah, well, means that could be a side effect or side byproduct of it. But when we focus on release planning, usually our primary purpose is to figuring out when do we release what, and we are basically focusing on customer releases. We may have a one team or multiple team, and that if we have a multiple team, then we need to plan their coordination as well. So it's a event which may have some similarities, but hopefully the understanding gives you an idea that safe does it in a particular way. you can do it in the way which helps you.
Saket, Sanjay here. Good evening.
Go ahead, Sanjay, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saket, with respect to the kind of planning that we do in the PI planning, right? So risk is automatically discussed and it's also pre-planned. So during that time, if the change in priorities exist, and then the product owner says that there's a feature which was not discussed or discussed, but we have taken it into backlog, then but there is a pressure from the stakeholders to put this into that. So those kind of things, do they entertain the
Okay. Yeah. So
and then how they're managing the tactics?
great. So before I answer it, I need to give a little holistic picture so that all of us can connect with it. In a safe way of working, we have two levels of planning. One level of planning is a long duration planning, and another is a iteration level planning. So this long duration, or I would say long time box, we have a long time box and short time box. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So long time box contain these collection of short time box. This long time box is called planning interval. Yeah. So usually they tell minimum 8 weeks, maximum 12 weeks, but I see in the industry many organizations also follow 14-week cycle. But so for a simplicity's sake, I am using a word 10 weeks. So the 10-week cycle is my PI. Yeah, that's like every 10 weeks we will plan for upcoming PI. So we all of us come together, all agile teams come together who are part of the one group. We call it agile release train, and they will plan for their 10 weeks duration and they will do the execution during that 10 weeks. While doing execution, they are expected to prepare fine grain planning every 2 weeks, which is a sprint level plan. Yeah, that's the overall idea. Now, in general, we understand the PI level planning, which we are doing at a 10-week level window planning, may be accurate at a 70 to 80% level. We are not expecting 100% predictability of a PI as a result of a PI planning. So we are expected to have a variations. We are not assuming that everything will be frozen in the PI planning meeting for the upcoming 10 weeks. We are expected to have a variations. Now, if the variations are 50%, then definitely we are little bit not utilizing the effort which we spend in a PI planning meeting. Yeah. But the up to 10 to 20% deviations are usually expected to happen because it is difficult to predict what is going to happen in upcoming 10 weeks. We need to have a responding to change. Now, for a 2 weeks window, which we are focusing on a sprint, our predictability of that sprint plan should be around 95 to 100%. So every 2 weeks when we are planning things, we should be sticking to what we wanted to achieve there. So if we are talking about handling the change, we are expecting more adjustment happening in our PI plan and less adjustment happening when we start a sprint. Yeah, we are expected to have minor modifications. But since it's an agile, we unlike Scrum, where we have a no change of sprint goals and that kind of strict rule, in a safe, such a big organization group, 100 people working and things are dynamic, they tell it's a decision which we have to make. The stakeholder who have an understanding of the requirement and the priority, they have to make this decision if they want to change the direction. For example, I am in a PI and I want to change 20% or 40% of my PI plan. Can I do it? They will say you need to apply economic decision making. You need to see what is best for your organization. And if you come to know that this is the best thing we have to do it. Yeah. So there is nothing like right and wrong. Yeah. But personally, what we observe is that if these instances are very often, then probably we want to ask ourselves a question also why we are making a plan for 10 weeks if we can't even stick to 70% of it. Yeah, then better we don't make it. Yeah. So it could be as an exception sometime here and there, or it could be in the initial stage when we are still maturing. But later on, we can say we should have maybe around 10 to 20% flex changes happening, not 40-50% changes happening during the PI.
Yeah, thanks, Akhil. So just to elaborate on that part, so every time the agile team is developing the product and moving it to production incrementally, and then we also see some defects and some issues coming up, and then there is certain amount of planning that goes for giving that specific amount of effort and time by the team. So what would be the normal scale of planning for that? It's not I wouldn't say risk, but it is a part of the risk planning only. But generally, what we had seen is like team is spending around 20 to 20% upper, delta of 20% is actually that effort is going for, you know, doing the changes back, rolling back, and then those kind of things.
Perfect.
So when the overall 10 weeks plan, the larger planning is happening and the smaller sprint planning is happening in SAFe. So how does a team actually adjust this sprints like
So
at the
for
sprint level
example,
itself?
in the first PI, while doing PI planning meeting, they did a mistake of not estimating support and maintenance work during the PI. Yeah, they end up mistaking this. And at the end of the PI, they observed that they could only achieve their 50% of PI objectives. Yeah. Now, what is expected from them? Next time, they need to do a better planning. So they will say, oh, next time onwards, we want to reserve our 30 to 40% capacity for these kind of maintenance and changes. Do it. That's what you can do in collaboratively. But it is not like SAFe is saying that you need to reserve 20% capacity. It is something you are deciding based on your nature of work. Yeah. Because in a safe way of working, it is not mandatory that you are releasing every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. You might be doing, you might not be doing. There is also a possibility you may have a dedicated team which takes care of support work. There is
Yeah.
also a possibility. So you need to find out, and that is true for your sprint planning also. For example, we put safe aside. You are doing releases, you are running a sprint, and in a sprint, your same team is also supporting the production. Then how do you plan for a sprint? Because you may have a unscheduled effect, defects, and other issues coming in. So you will plan based on your historical data, based on your retrospective, and that is what you do in a safe also. Like this Monday, Tuesday, I was working with one of the company, and in that company, they do have a few components of their products are going frequent releases, and they reserve 50% capacity of few teams to support the users. Yeah, that's how they have been doing, and they are learning. They are just in a third PI. Usually, it takes 4 or 5 PIs before these things start maturing. Initially, they did a mistake, but by the second and third PI, they started putting this, and they are still improving in their forecasting.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Anything else, anyone? I hope the conversation is relatable. I'm trying to keep it as wide as possible. So if we are new to SAFe also, then also we can connect to it. Yeah. But if I'm doing some mistake, do point me out. Yeah. If I'm using too much jargons. Yeah. Because sometimes in teaching SAFe becomes little difficult because I end up using jargons. Great. I think we got the understanding. So we got an idea about what is safe, how to use in the enterprise. Is it suitable for startup? We spoke about release planning versus PI planning. That's something we explored. We also explored how to plan for long duration with high predictability. So how do we take care of changes which we are discovering during the PI? And we explored how different agile teams might be doing this differently. Yeah, that much I think we have covered till now.
I suck it.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
So this is Roberto. Thanks for this event. I like this very much. And I have to say that I am very fan of all of your videos that you put into your iZenBridge. And regarding to this, I received the CSM last year, and I had a question that I couldn't realize properly in your explanations. I'm referring to the first 7 videos. So what is the system team inside the Agile Release team people, and what are the enablers? If you can give me an example,
Great.
potentially,
I will explain.
not in the software, because I'm mainly working in the iTech. So hardware.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Thank you, Sagat.
So first thing is system team as a concept has been introduced to support and make you clear about how do you need a dedicated group who ensure integration of the work? So for example, we are building something and we have say 4 teams, agile teams, and they are too much specialized in their part of the component. But ultimately, so say we are making, say, a new age X-ray device. It's a medical device which we are making, and the X-ray device has a mechanical part of it, has a electronic part of it, has a application software part of it, yeah, which is running on it, and may have some data and encryption and security part of it, yeah, for example. And you may have a different agile teams which are working in these areas. But ultimately, when we want to have a demonstration of the version of an X-ray machine, we want to see an integrated approach. We want to see how a particular X-ray can work, and the mechanical, hardware, electrical, or the electronics and application all comes together and produce the result. Now, these teams might have done their individual component development, but they may need a dedicated group, if they can handle this integration and dedicated end-to-end validation by collaboration, then it's a good idea. So you can have a collaborative system team. But if you want that, we should have a dedicated group which might work with these teams to technically integrate everything, put them into a one place, and make sure that we can see it end to end. That effort team, that technical integration team, is the team which we call the system team. Yeah. So it could be a dedicated group who is doing this job, or it could be that 1 or 2 dedicated, but other people are participating from different agile teams, and then every 2 weeks we are coming together and making sure that we are doing integrated demos. Yeah, that's a system team. Yeah, that's the objective of system team, be it any way of implementing safe. Usually when we go for continuous integration and we have a better collaboration with each other teams, usually we don't need system team, and which is a good thing. Yeah, not needing a dedicated group to integrate is a good idea, but you should have a mechanism to make sure that we have incremental deliveries. Yeah, that's a system team. Now, another concept which you asked in the question is, what is enabler? So in a safe word, they tell we need to focus on requirements by, you can say, classifying them into 2 categories. One category of requirements are direct user-focused, user-centric requirement. And another set of requirements are, I would say, platform-oriented, technology-oriented, foundation-oriented, yeah, which enables the user-centric requirement to produce the desirable and predictable results. So you can say that if I'm analyzing the X-ray machine, there could be some set of requirements which the medical professionals who are going to use the X-ray machine can provide. Yeah, they are the user specific requirements. They will be, in our safe word, we will call them features. But there could be some kind of hardware design of that particular machine which ensures that it doesn't heat up, it is compact enough, and maybe you want to do some kind of exploration to make best use of new AI enabled features. So you have a technical experts who are saying, okay, maybe along with these user requirement, or maybe sometime before that, I want to do this technological exploration, technological foundational work, which may not be directly giving value to the medical professional who is going to use this X-ray machine, but it will help us in creating the machine which will ultimately be friendly, safe, compact, and maybe more predictable to delivery. So we want to do some research about it. We want to do some infrastructure work about it. But that work cannot be validated by medical professionals. So as a medical professional, I can't say what is the value of this work. So we say that people who are technology oriented, we call them system architects, they are the one who will add this element into our work list. Yeah, I'm not getting into jargons of ART backlog and team backlog or program backlog, whatever. Yeah, we can say they will add it into our list, and then we will work on it as we work on other items. So we have a different ownership, technology people own it. We have a different purpose of these items, but ultimately both the features and enablers comes together, which enables us to get the desired value. I hope I could handle it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. Thanks for your explanation. I have to apologize because I'm not CSM, but I am a Scrum Advanced Scrum Master in SAFe. So apologies for this. And if I'm allowed, I'd like to ask you another question, which is exactly related to what you mentioned and regards the system architect. So how can a system architect in a new configuration, like for example, the one that you mentioned, how can they include all the potential requirements that will come in the future when the product will be delivered, for example, in roadmap, so there will be release 1, release 2, and whatever. I mean, how can the system architect foresee what will come after 3 releases?
Got your point. Yeah. So say this whole concept, yeah, is more aligned on software way of thinking. Yeah, maybe you need to see how it works in your hardware way of working, and we are saying not too much ahead in time and not too late. Yeah, so we usually use it just in time, because in a software way of working, the cost of redesigning is not that expensive. Yeah, so we are saying that we are not looking for perfect technical decisions in the beginning of our release. It may happen that we have designed our technological capability which may not be sustainable when we go to second release. They may be only sustainable till the first release only. By the time we will go second release, we need to upgrade it. Reason being is the same thing which you pointed out. Even we may have a direction for upcoming 3 or 4 releases with the help of roadmap. But as we understand, roadmap is expected to evolve over a period of time. So we can't say roadmap is equal to plan. Yeah. So as we are going to evolve, we may need different capabilities in our architecture as well. So again, depending upon the context, if I have a product which is less flexible, then I may want to do early architecturing for all the things which I'm very clear about. But if I have a product which is going to get through multiple iterations of redesigning, then I should not be thinking too much ahead in time. So depending upon context, I need to find out what is the right balance, not too late, not too early.
Thank you very much. Very clear.
Great, great. Thank you. Anything else, anyone? We can spend another 20 minutes. Yeah. And if you have any queries.
Hi, Saket.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So could you please, talk about a little bit about the prioritization techniques we can use in SAFe?
What kind of technique? Prioritization.
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's a little tricky, Alok. Yeah. So let's talk about prioritization game in SAFe. Yeah. So unlike Scrum, we don't have a one backlog. Yeah. So we don't have a product backlog here. We have multiple levels of backlog. Yeah. I can talk about the last 2 levels, which are very, very relevant for usual execution people. If you are working as a agile team in SAFe, we will be dealing with those 2 levels of backlogs. So one backlog, which is now called ART backlog, but before 1 year, it used to be called program backlog. It's the same thing. You may hear both the words when you go for interviews and all. Is a backlog which is for the whole group of agile teams. So what we do in SAFe, different agile teams who are expected to work together in collaboration to achieve bigger goal, we club them together and we call them agile release train. Yeah, so we have a term called agile release train. Now this agile release train, which is, say, for a simple example, 10 agile teams, so 100 people. Now these 100 people are looking for common requirement priorities and details, and that common backlog for all of them is called ART backlog. Yeah, so you have an agile release train level backlog or a program backlog, old name. Now all of these people come in a PI planning meeting, and there they distribute the work based on their understanding, capability, and the capacity they have for the upcoming PI among themselves. Yeah. So you can say the item in a ART backlogs are called features and enablers. And say I'm just keeping the simple word features maybe for a while. And those features, say there were 10 features and each team picked up one feature. Yeah. So there is a one work happens at a PI planning meeting. And afterward, out of this one feature, they will make small incremental user stories. Say each feature got divided into 20 user story. And during the PI, they will work in iterations where they will develop, deliver, demo these user stories. Yeah, so they will work in a user story level. So what we can understand is we have a joint backlog called ART backlog, and these 10 teams will have their own team backlog. Yeah, so we will have a 10 team backlog in this example. The team backlog got populated as a part of a PI planning meeting, and then it get further refined during the PI. And the objective of team backlog is to deliver the ART backlog item incrementally. Yeah, so that's the thing. Now, when we come to prioritization, we can talk about how do we prioritize ART backlog and how do we prioritize team backlog. Yeah, these are the two elements. Yeah. Now, when we go to ART backlog, from a safe perspective, they only prescribed one technique. Yeah. But in real industry, people do use alternative techniques also, depending upon what works for them. But from a standard framework, they talk about something called weighted shortest job first, which is little tricky technique. But that technique basically, which is safe, also has modified it. This original technique was there in a book named Product Development Flow. But with some customization, SAFe has incorporated ideas and they created their own technique, which is a customized weighted shortage job first. That we need to understand the high level, train level stakeholders are involved there, and they need to do some kind of value forecast for each feature, which is called cost of delay. And then we need to have a size estimation for these features at a ART level. And then priorities are expected to emerge based on value forecast divided by size. And that's the ART level prioritization. When one feature comes to me, I definitely, if two features are coming to me, to my agile team, I always intend to deliver the feature which has a high WSJF value first. My intent is there. But there could be some technical limitation and dependencies also, which may not be allowing me to do so. So at a team level, we have left the prioritization open to the product owner. So SAFe tells, depending upon the high level priorities you get into the PI planning meeting and local context which you have in your agile team, in collaboration with that, a product owner at a team level will be doing team backlog prioritization. And that's the overall idea. We do have around 24 minutes video on a WSJF if someone is interested. If you have been through agile training, skilled agile training, you probably already know. But if not, maybe you just say WSJF iZenBridge, you will get more details. But yeah, this is how the SAFe solves the prioritization problem. In my personal observation, I don't see many organizations who are using SAFe in my personal limited sample size. I don't see many of them using WSJF for ART backlog prioritization. There are reasons for not using it, but that's the only practice Scaled Agile recommend from a framework perspective.
Thank you, Saket.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, hi Saket.
Go ahead,
Mahesh this
please.
side.
Yeah, go ahead, Mesh. Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question regarding the certification. So basically, I am a PMP certified professional. 1 year back, I had done my PMP. So just wanted to understand which SAFe certification will be good for me. And like currently, my organization doesn't use any SAFe practice. Okay, so will it be good to do, and what are the future perspectives?
Perfect. Yeah. So see, in general, in our customer base, sample base, we do see project managers usually doing leading SAFe certification. Yeah. So Scaled Agile has a 20 plus certification. They have many, but since they started their certification, they have a one popular certificate which is called Leading SAFe, and the training name is called Leading SAFe, and the certificate is called SAFe Agilist. This particular certification from a Scaled Agile perspective is designed for the leaders and managers who may play a role at some point in time in implementing SAFe in their company. So it is designed for those people who are not yet using SAFe, but they are playing a manager or a leadership role in their organization. So in general, leading SAFe with a SAFe Agilist is going to be a good certificate for you. But few things I want to remind you, because you are coming from a project management background. The pure SAFe way of working does not recognize as project way of working. For them, it is no more a temporary endeavor. For them, the teams are permanent endeavor. So they just create an agile release train, and agile release train will keep running forever. Yeah? That's the mindset they have. So, but at the same time, when client want to have a vendor doing their SAFe execution, part of the SAFe execution, then they create a contract for the vendor and they create a project for the vendor. Though the SAFe doesn't have a project, but as a vendor, I am participating in my client's implementation. I may end up having a project. Yeah. So we understand in a real world, I may be using some customized approaches because we need to have a partner working with us. So there will be a little different way of, so there is no direct project manager role, which I will learn in the SAFe way of working, but I need to adapt to the contract and my client and my company's understanding. So for a career perspective, I would recommend going for leading SAFe with SAFe Agilist certification.
Okay, but is it like a basic beginner level certification, or it's
It's the
for
most packed content certificate. Yeah, it's the most packed content certificate, and it's a managerial level certificate because SAFe is little complicated. By default, it assumes that you should know Agile, Kanban, and project management and product management when you are coming to leading SAFe class. Yeah, so they have made it for a managers. In a SAFe, there are not many levels. Yeah, they do have another trainer SAFe trainer certificate. They call it SAFe program a practice consultant now. That's a 4 days program where they make someone trainer of SAFe. In that 4 days program, the first 2 days they teach leading SAFe class only. Yeah. So you can say the leading SAFe is the package which goes to the most complex program of SAFe also, the first 2 days, and after that they take another 2 days to tell them how to implement SAFe. Yeah, so it is going to be a little heavy. Yeah, and better you check our videos in advance. We have a 50 plus videos. If you check the basic 7 videos and other details in advance, I'm running leading SAFe class this weekend as well, in case you want to join us. And with some preparation in advance, you should get the fair value of your time. Not to worry about exam. It is not like PMP. It is a browser based exam which you give from home, and it is a 1 day effort. Yeah, 1 day means 4 5 hours effort only. So certification is not going to be difficult, but yes, SAFe is little bit will take time to really understand and start speaking in your interviews and all. Yeah.
Okay, understood. Thank you. Thanks.
Great. Yeah. Good. Anything else, anyone, before we conclude today's conversation? Go ahead.
Yes, Saket, I would like to ask one last question, just regarding to the certification. How would you compare the one that you just described with the lean SAFe certification? Because I think in my career progression as a advanced Scrum Master in SAFe, I have two options. One will be RTE, or the one will be in lean portfolio management. And I would like you to
SAFe has
describe this and compare to the other one that you just explained.
See, SAFe has all these certification options, and in general, 40 to 50% of the content is overlapping. Yeah, so we need to understand SAFe before we go to the details. Now, the release train engineer certificate, from a scaled agile perspective, there is no precondition for it, but in general, it is more focusing on after you have experienced. So by default, looks like a release train engineer is a good next career progression and branding perspective as well for you. Yeah, from my perspective. Yeah, so you can go with that because you are demonstrating I'm ready to do a RT role, or I'm already playing a release train engineer role. Yeah, the lean portfolio management is a good career progression for product management kind of people. Yeah. So product management, business stakeholders who wants to take care of budgeting, forecasting, and ensure the strategic alignment of the work with the agile release stream execution. Those are the individual who should take lean portfolio management from a safe branding perspective. If you have watched our videos, if you learn the LPM content, more or less the same thing you will learn in the 2 or 3 days option which you learn in the lean portfolio management. Yeah, but by default, I think RT may make good, I would say, branding sense for you. Yeah.
Because maybe my understanding was a little bit biased by the portfolio in a sense that is used in a PMP.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking this, and I already asked to Kumkum to send me a quotation for that, and I received it. But I wanted to just
so they are not much popular, and that's why maybe they are taking time to send you the quote also. Now let me explain what is a portfolio in SAFe. So portfolio in a SAFe is a collection of agile release streams. They call it collection of development value streams, ultimately agile release train. So you can say there are 10 trains running in my department, or I am a head of that department, like that. Yeah. So I need to make sure these 10 trains are working on right priorities, which will help my organization in achieving the strategic objectives. So what kind of initiative they should plan next? What kind of solution roadmap they can have? Yeah. So the solution roadmap is funded and approved by the lean portfolio management. Yeah. So product management is expected to have an agreement with the lean portfolio management about the solution roadmap, and the items in the solution roadmaps, which are called epics, are something which get evaluated and approved by lean portfolio management. So in a way, lean portfolio management is expected to give the work to agile release train, expected to ensure agile release trains are producing the value which is aligned to the organization strategic objective, and they may end up removing some of the work from agile release train. Their goal is they are answerable to the organization management to ensure that they are making best use of the collection of agile release stream which are coming under them. That's the lean portfolio management.
I got the picture. Thank you very much, Sagar.
Great. Yeah. Good. I think we had interesting. Go ahead, Alok. You have something. Yeah.
So a small doubt in WSJF. So now it's a formula is cost of delay are divided by job size, right? So job size is the duration. So that is clear. Cost of delay. How do we calculate cost of delay?
It's a guessing game, and job size is also not necessarily equal to duration. Yeah. Job size is also a guessing game. Yeah. So let's understand. See, the original formula of cost of delay divided by job duration was the one which is given in the book. Yeah, the product development flow. But since we have not yet done PI planning, we don't know dependency, we don't know which agile team is doing it, we don't know when it can be delivered. Yeah, so we don't have an idea of the duration. We don't know calendar month if we start today when it can get delivered when we are doing prioritization. So what SAFe does is they can say we can take an approximation and we can focus on story point, which may more or less equalize with the duration, more or less, but not necessary because of dependencies and other things, duration may be different. Yeah, that's the first thing. It's a guessing game. Yeah. Now, cost of delay in the original product development flow, it talks about how many dollars we are losing every day. Yeah, dollar per day, dollar per month, loss of not having this product in the market. Now, that level of understanding, SAFe tells is difficult to have. You don't know how much dollar you are losing. So probably you can have some estimation process where you put a relative size of saying we are losing X and in the other we are losing 2X. So it becomes just relative. It is not a dollar per month. It's just a comparison of 10, 20 features, and where the business stakeholders are putting some numbers which represents relative ranking of cost of delay. Yeah. So they have a formula which talks about you should talk about business value, you should talk about time criticality, you should talk about risk reduction and opportunity enablement, and guess these three numbers. And based on this guessing game, you calculate something called cost of delay. Yeah. So the detailed video of 24 minutes will help you. But both the parameter in a SAFe WSJF is a estimated based on expert judgment, and they are unitless. They are just relative. They are not in days or money. That's how you calculate them.
Thank you.
Hello, Saket.
Go ahead,
I have a query.
please. Yeah.
Yes, Saket, I did CSM, I did Safe Agilist 5, Safe Agilist 6, I did Safe PMPO as well. But in my organization, I'm a senior project manager, and at the same time, I'm a software development manager. And also for some project, I'm a transformation program manager. So what you suggest, how could I align all the certification in my CV, and what role should I align in my CV so that I can capitalize on this certification? And in true sense, in our organization, we have implemented ART. Within that, what you rightly mentioned, we are following all the agile concept, the sprints part. In our organization, we follow 12-week, 3-week per sprint with the maximum of three months length. And we did in first three, how we start in PI planning is the first 3 days we discuss with all the stakeholders, around 150 stakeholders, like program manager, product owner, product manager, and everything. We brief ourselves and at epic level and the feature level. Then we have a program board, the team board as a team level, and the program board at enterprise level to sync and share everything, to be very transparent and share everything, every details. Now, how could I take the benefit of all this in my CV so that I can capitalize on this?
So I would say that you have a good experience, you have a good exposure, you can definitely demonstrate your safe experience in your CV. Now, the thing is, you need to start with a target role. So in general, there are two kind of target roles. If you are more into requirement facilitation, working with the business stakeholders, strategic alignment, then you may target product management role. But if you have been more like facilitating the PI planning meeting, resolving interdependency, making sure that teams are collaborating well with each other, then you are targeting yourself towards a release train engineer. Now, another challenge could be, since you have a project management experience as well, which is good for you, that sometimes there are service organizations who might be implementing SAFe for their clients. So their release train engineer role is a RT plus project management role also, because they need to take care of contracting, invoicing, and other stuffs as well. So I think from a high level view, I believe you should target project manager / release train engineer kind of role, and which may have a program management influence as well, because release train engineer has good element of program management attached to it. So these are the three words you should focus on. Maybe you can, if you are more confident, you can drop the word project management. You focus on program management / release train engineer. And in a safe word, you focus on release train engineer as a role. If some organization which are not on safe but looking for program management skill, then you may showcase what kind of program management you end up doing as a part of working with this particular context. I think that's the target you should put.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Good,
sharing
good,
the
good.
insight.
Yeah. Great. So we are approaching our closing time. Yeah, that's where we are. And if anyone has a final question before I start closing, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you want to say
So,
something?
Saket, I have one
Yeah,
question.
okay, Rajni, go ahead.
Not from the not from the safe at a high level, but from the agile. Okay, but I would like to understand and have many queries like in agile. So, do we have the similar sessions for agile as well, wherein we can understand it more, or
Plan?
any training program you want to recommend?
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
run a
So.
PMI ACP program, and I'm
Mm,
planning a Agile and PMI ACP mentoring call on 10th May. Yeah. So in our same
okay.
website, you can find that detail where we
Mm-hmm.
will talk about a little bit time. We will spend around 20-25 minutes about understanding PMI ACP, but we can definitely talk about open-ended agile queries as well, the way we discussed today. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that may help, and would definitely would like to go for the certification so that to have that on my CV though. So
Great.
let's see, how I can progress and by when I can achieve that. Let's see.
Perfect.
So would looking forward to your mentorship on that. We'll connect.
Sure,
Okay.
sure,
Thank
sure.
you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Anil, you want to make some point before we close because you unmuted that time? Yeah.
Yeah, Saket. I have one question for SAFE. The events are remain same, right? The SAFE events are
more or less. So as you can see, there are two level of game now. Yeah, at least minimum. There are 4 levels actually, but minimum 2 levels of game. One is a team level game and one is a train level thing. So team level events are same. You have a iteration planning, iteration review, iteration retrospective, and team sync. They use different words, but those remain same. And a recommended team level backlog refinement. So team level 2 weeks iteration remains the same. But then you have a train level events also, PI planning meeting, which is a full agile release train meeting. Then they have a synchronization meetings. We call them code sync up, which is a synchronization of Scrum Master. Then we have a PO sync up, which is a sync up meeting of the product owners, which are expected to happen frequently, minimum once in a week. Then the way we are having demos at a iteration level, we have a train level demo also, which is expected to happen incrementally, which we call system demo. And then there is a special event for getting ready for PI planning meeting, which is called innovation and planning iteration. So there are few additional layer get attached to make it pack well so that we can work as a one cohesive team.
okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Saket, I have one quick question. Want to understand who all participates in this release training planning meeting?
Yeah.
Like several agile teams or Scrum teams are there. So is everybody participates in that planning session?
From a safe perspective,
Yes.
the answer is yes. But practically, I do see some organization, they don't invite all 100 people. They do subset planning as well. But from a safe perspective, the PI planning is only useful when everybody participate. So full train. So the group of agile teams who are working together, we call it train, full agile release train, all 100 plus people are expected to participate in a PI planning meeting. Maybe virtually, maybe face to face, that depends, but they are expected to participate.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participation. And we will put another round of session as well. Yeah, hopefully soon. And yes, we are having some Agile and PMI ACP sessions, the same place you can find out. We will also share it in our social channel. If you are already connected with me on LinkedIn, great. If not, maybe you want to connect with me so that you don't miss these kind of stuff which I keep posting frequently. So I am putting my LinkedIn URL in the chat. So connect with me, follow me in case you wanna make sure that we remain connected on this particular matter. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Saket.
Saket.
Have a good
Thanks very
day.
much.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. The session was very insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.